Dr. Elena Vasquez stood frozen before the observation deck's massive viewport, her coffee mug trembling in her hand. Beyond the reinforced glass, space itself seemed to be tearing apart. Brilliant auroras of impossible colors danced across the void, and stars that had shone steadily for billions of years now flickered like dying candles. "Commander, you need to see this," her voice cracked over the intercom. The Meridian Station had been humanity's crown jewel, a massive orbital research facility positioned at the edge of explored space. For 3 decades, it had served as the boundary marker, the final outpost where human ambition met the unknown. Beyond this point, no ship had ventured. The Galactic Council had made that very clear in their first and only communication with Earth: cross the designated boundary, and face consequences beyond comprehension. Commander Marcus Reed arrived within minutes, his gray uniform still bearing sleep wrinkles. "Report. Sir, the boundary is collapsing. Or rather..." Elena pulled up holographic data streams that painted the air between them in crimson warnings. "It's expanding. Moving toward us." Marcus felt his stomach drop. 6 months ago, the research vessel Prometheus had violated the treaty. Against direct orders, Captain Sarah Chen had pushed her ship past the boundary, driven by humanity's insatiable curiosity. They detected what appeared to be ancient technology, artifacts that could revolutionize everything humanity understood about physics. The temptation had been too great. The Prometheus never returned. Now, it seemed, the galaxy itself was responding. "How long until it reaches us?" Marcus asked, though he dreaded the answer. 14 hours. Maybe less. Elena's fingers danced across holographic controls, pulling up more data. "But Commander, it's not just moving. It's consuming. Every stellar body in its path is being rewritten." The word hung in the air like a death sentence. Marcus activated the station-wide emergency protocol. "All personnel to crisis stations. Someone get me a line to Earth Command, now." Within the hour, the command center had transformed into controlled chaos. Scientists, engineers, and military personnel crowded around every available console. The main screen displayed a real-time image of the approaching phenomenon. It looked like a wave of liquid reality, rippling through the fabric of spacetime itself. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the station's chief astrophysicist, had been analyzing the data nonstop. His eyes were bloodshot, his normally neat appearance disheveled. "Commander, I think I understand what's happening." The room fell silent. The boundary wasn't a treaty line. It was a quarantine. Yuki's voice shook slightly. "The Galactic Council wasn't protecting their territory from us. They were protecting us from it." He pulled up ancient fragments of the message Earth had received 3 decades ago. Everyone had focused on the warning, but buried in the transmission were additional data packets, written in mathematical languages that humanity had only recently learned to interpret. According to this, our region of space exists in a stable pocket of reality. But beyond the boundary, physics works differently. The laws that govern matter, energy, time, they're mutable there. The advanced civilizations of the Galactic Council learned to navigate and survive in that chaos, but younger species like us. He trailed off. "The Prometheus created a breach," Elena concluded, her face pale. "Like a hole in a dam. And now that instability is flooding into our space." Marcus gripped the edge of the command console. "Can we stop it?" The silence that followed was answer enough. "There might be one option," Yuki said hesitantly. "The readings suggest the boundary responds to concentrated gravitational fields. If we could create a strong enough gravity well, we might be able to slow it down, maybe even redirect it." "How?" Marcus demanded. "The station's fusion reactors. If we overload all of them simultaneously, create a controlled collapse into a microsingularity." Yuki met Marcus's eyes. "We'd have to evacuate most of the station. And even then, there's only a 40% chance of success." Marcus looked around the command center, at the men and women who had dedicated their lives to pushing humanity's boundaries. Now, ironically, they would sacrifice themselves to restore one. How many can we evacuate in 14 hours? With every shuttle and escape pod? Maybe 700 of the 1,000 personnel on board, Elena answered. The choice was simple and terrible. Abandon the station and flee, hoping the catastrophic wave would somehow dissipate before reaching Earth. Or stay, fight, and possibly save billions. Marcus had never believed in easy decisions. Elena, coordinate the evacuation. Prioritize non-essential personnel, families, anyone without critical technical skills. He turned to Yuki. Doctor, you'll oversee the reactor preparations. And before you argue, someone needs to survive to tell Earth what happened here. Commander, you can't. That's an order. The next 12 hours passed in a blur of desperate activity. Shuttles launched in waves, carrying frightened personnel toward the relative safety of the inner system. Those who remained worked with grim determination, rigging the station's 8 massive fusion reactors for simultaneous overload. Marcus stood in the command center, surrounded by a skeleton crew of volunteers. Through the viewport, the wave of altered reality loomed closer, a beautiful, terrible aurora that consumed everything in its path. Reactors at critical threshold, reported Lieutenant Chen from engineering. On your mark, Commander. Marcus thought of Earth, of his daughter learning to ride a bike, of humanity's first stumbling steps into a cosmos far stranger and more dangerous than anyone had imagined. They'd been children playing at the edge of an ocean, and now they'd learned that some boundaries existed for good reason. For humanity, he said quietly, and pressed the activation sequence. The Meridian station exploded in a flash of brilliant light, its reactors collapsing into a singularity that warped spacetime itself. The catastrophic wave struck the gravity well and, for one impossible moment, stopped. Then, slowly, it began to recede. In the darkness beyond, the Galactic Council watched in surprised silence. Perhaps, they considered, these young humans might one day be ready to cross boundaries after all. But not today.